Over this past week, we hit up West Virginia. We went out there hunting pheasants. We had a great hunt. We were on lots of birds. It was a beautiful day. And of course, we're going to get on the birds. And the dog decided to bring me this pheasant. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we're going to cook this Thanksgiving style.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to do us a little bit of cooking here today. So it's right before Thanksgiving. We went hunting recently, shot a pheasant. I've got it whole dressed, and I'm going to take this pheasant and essentially I'm going to stuff it just like as I would if it was a turkey or a chicken, and I'm going to make it with cornbread dressing. So let's get into it. All right, so I have all the ingredients here that I'm gonna need. I believe I might have to go grab like some garlic and a couple other things. But I got onion, I got about a cup of an onion, a cup of celery, a cup of red bell pepper, and a cup of, that's the andouille, which is just a smoked sausage, Cajun smoked sausage. A cup of chicken stock, and some butter. And I'm gonna show you how we're doing it. Got some cornbread, and I have a little Dutch oven. I'm gonna use the Dutch oven to cook this pheasant in, and then obviously here is my cleaned and dressed pheasant, and we'll take that and stuff that with this dressing once we make the dressing. So here we go. We're going to get into it, and I'll mix up all these ingredients with the dressing. So first thing is first, I'm going to just start breaking this cornbread apart. You could even do this with your hands. I'm going to go ahead and set the oven to 350 degrees to preheat. I've got just enough garlic to make this work, I think. So about a tablespoon of minced garlic going in here with some garlic juice. Gonna sprinkle some Tony Chachere's just to get it a little bit red, peppery. Love that flavor. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and add that chicken stock to this to get it nice and moisturized. I have some cream of mushroom soup. Just gonna put that cream of mushroom soup in there. So now I'm trying to mix it, but I'm really trying to fold it pretty good. So now I'm going to take and put that bell pepper, put some bell pepper in there. I may not use that whole cup. I'll just have to, you know it when you see it, you know. So I just kind of want to where there's a little bit of bell pepper in every bite. Here, we'll switch this around so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Okay. Now we're going to want some celery in there. Again, I may not put it all because I can use this later. And then we're going to want, probably going to want all the sausage. So we're going to put all that sausage in there. That ain't going to do no bad. All right, so I got a little bit of butter. I'm just going to try to put just a slight bit of butter in there. Oh, I forgot to put the onion. Now we're going to put that onion in there. And again, I'm not going to put all this onion in there. That might be a bit too much. I might save some of this for later. On this part, I am going to use the Cajun injector method to season the meat. And also it's going to make sure that it doesn't dry out. So I'm going to take that Zatarain's crab oil and I'm going to pour that into the butter. There's my oven telling me it's done. So I'm going to mix up that crab oil. All right. And I'm just going to start injecting the meat with that butter. I've got my Dutch oven, which is how I'm going to cook this. And I'm just going to take this dressing and I'm going to throw it in the bottom of the pan. Now I'm going to take this here and we're going to season this up. All right, so I'm going to take this pheasant here and I'm just going to sprinkle some Tonys on him. Showing a little bit on the outside there. Paprika. You can be kind of liberal with paprika, it just kind of coats it. Get a little thyme going. Now I'm going to take some of that dressing and I'm going to start stuffing dressing inside of the bird. I'm going to try to pack it in there as good as I can. Pheasant soaking in butter and buttermilk and Worcestershire sauce for about a day or so before I put it into this, so that is a factor. So there you go. I got this pheasant sitting on top of all that dressing. I've drenched everything in butter. I've got some rosemary put on top, and I've stuffed that pheasant with the rosemary. I've got my oven set to 350. And I'm going to put the lid on and throw him in the oven, and I'll let you know what it looks like when I'm all done. All right, so while that's cooking, let's do some more cooking. So here's a technique. A friend of mine, I made this for him the other day. He's gracious enough to give me a deer, so I'm gracious enough to eat it and let it cook for him some of it. And he said, man, you need to make that one of your videos. So what I like to do here is I like to cut that strip real thin. So that's a really thin back strap, right? And I know some people will think that you shouldn't cut it that thin. But let me tell you, the thinner the better. So I'm going to take that back strap and then I'm going to pound it flat. So I'm going to beat all this back strap and tenderize it. I'm going to take this buttermilk. I'm going to put it in that buttermilk for a little bit. And it doesn't take long, maybe 10, 20 minutes here. Going to add that soy sauce, just a little bit. And add just a little bit of that Leopards. And just going to let it soak. Alright. So I just got some bacon grease. Again, I'm just going to lightly flour. Takes that flour. Throw it in there and just lightly fry it. Just gonna lightly fry it. We're gonna put a little honey on there now. Make it taste just a little bit more better. If you know, you know. I think country fried backstrap is the way to go for sure. It's one of my favorite things about, you know, deer meat, and putting on honey or cane syrup or something like that is just something I just really enjoy. If you haven't tried it, it's definitely worth a try. It is an acquired taste, but it tastes great. So here we go. Let's get a little piece of that. Ooh, boy. It's sweet, it's tangy, it's very tender. It has a very unique taste. So deer meat has its own flavor profile, and just, you know, a little bit of that buttermilk sort of helps to tenderize it, as well as the teriyaki, not teriyaki, but soy sauce, as well as the soy sauce. So it has a very unique flavor profile. I would say this tastes nothing like a country fried steak, but it is very, very good. And it definitely has its own unique flavor profile. And if you haven't tried this, if you are familiar with deer meat, you know, give it a try. See if you like it. I like cutting it thin, tenderizing it, and then using the old country fry, and then throwing some syrup or some honey or something like that on there, and it is just so good. This also really takes me back to just Thanksgiving and the holiday meals, because it was very customary where I'm from in you know, in the deep south, etc. To, you know, you would go out hunting and you get a deer, you know, you kill some wild birds, kill some ducks or something, and then we would take that, or maybe even go fishing or get some oysters or flounder or whatever. And so, you know, really grew up eating that type of table fare. And I think some people have a bad impression of what those taste like, because it does take a little bit of knowledge about those types of meats and those types of game to be able to cook it well, I would say. But when done properly, to me, there's very little difference between like high-end quality restaurant meats or some sort of like restaurant appetizer or something. So it's very, very good. All right, so here we go. Finished product came out of the pot. It cooked for about 40 minutes. It looks to be done. So I don't know. grab a fork here and see if we can get us a piece off of this. Let's get us a little piece here that we could try. All right. So there's a little piece. Let's try that. Wow. Very tender, very juicy. Came out much better than I expected. Has a lot of good flavor. Definitely recommend as a way to cook this. I mean, you could have potentially laid some bacon over the top of it or something like that just to give it just a little bit better of a flavor profile. But it came out really well. And we'll go ahead and try a little bit of the stuffing, because that is just, honestly, the stuffing's probably better than the pheasant. It's really good. So there you go. It just doesn't get any better than that cornbread dressing. Very, very good stuff. I love the rosemary accent because I put that rosemary in the pot while I was cooking. Just came out absolutely stunningly beautiful. Anyway, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next one.